The reason why I titled this video A New Earth is to connect with the right kind of people. This conversation, this one-way conversation, is probably not going to be of interest to everyone, but there are some people who are on their process of awakening. They just might be interested in what I have to say. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle was a book that came across my path years ago. I wasn't expecting anything from the book. It was handed over to me by someone I had a good conversation with. And without expecting much, I just started reading that book. Only to find out later that this was going to significantly change my world. For the ones who are on an awakening process, you may have been brought into a deep introspection due to some traumatic event in your life, or maybe it was just your time to look inward. There's a good chance that it was a painful process, at least initially, to let go of your old habitual patterns. You tried from time to time to hold on to your old ways of living, old relationships, old eating habits, old work environment. But those things only one by one just kept slipping away from you. It's like you've had a fulfilling 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and now you're trying to go back because the dream was so sweet. The sun is blaring in your face, telling you that this is morning and it's a new beginning, and you know it, but you just want a little bit more of the dream world. You sleep a bit more, and then you just jump out of your bed because it's just too uncomfortable now to be sleeping when you know the truth. The whole old habits, they leave you. The old habits, they leave you because the bright reality that you experience now is far more blissful and alive than anything that has been known. You're not just awakening, but you are also observing that whichever environment you choose to go, you can sense it more deeply than ever. You can feel the emotions of other beings just by listening to the sound of their voice, reading their facial expressions, and even looking directly into their eyeballs. It's like you're the same microphone, but the input has been increased. So now you can catch a lot more sounds from your surroundings. You've become sensitive, and by sensitive I mean you have heightened senses. Your words and actions come out at the right time in any given situation. You don't always have to plan or rehearse before speaking in social or work situations. You live in a place of love, gratitude, and healing. So everything that comes out of you is a resonance of that. Everyone can recognize that, and they resonate with it because they hear it within themselves. Therefore, it creates a better communication. Events may have lost their meaning. You do not label any event as good or bad, because your perspective of life is not based upon evaluating bits and segments of my story. There's no such thing as my story anymore. You know that there is no story from your point of view because your point of view is completely unshaken. It's stationary, it's stable. Things come and go, and you always are here. I simply am. With this understanding, you can also observe that everywhere in this world, on every continent, there are people waking up. There are communities that are actively helping out to bring about this new understanding of reality, or you can say old understanding of the reality, because we may have had this kind of structure before, but then we lost it, and now we are again finding it. And when I say we, I'm talking about humans. There could be more species that are probably surviving in the galaxy somewhere. It's not highly uncommon or unlikely that that's happening. You can see people that are just like you, and it gives you joy when you see people who are just like you. You probably also try to reach out to these people. You go to the communities to volunteer, to spend some time in nature and learn from the teachers. The insight that come now is that however the outside looks a little bit horrific, well, not a little bit, but okay, so let me say this again. So your current insight is that however horrific the outside looks, given this pandemic situation, and it hurts to see physical death and suffering, you also know through your own experience that it is too a part of the awakening process. At the micro level, which is your individual level, you've gone through confusions, stress, feeling of division, feelings of loss, feelings of grief. And now the same process appears on the collective level. You see what I'm saying? You see that that's the process. You see that first there is pain, first there is intense pain that shakes you up, that wakes you up a little bit, and you look at it on an individual level, and then you do something about it, then you question it, and then later on it brings you to that whole path of discovering more about yourself in that same way. So that's a micro level that happens on individualistic level, but in that same way on a macro level, when I talk about the collective, billions of people, the pain comes in some kind of natural disaster or a pandemic, and it hurts, it wakes us up, it actually shakes us up, it really hurts. So that becomes an opening to seeing what's been already going on and was not being observed. So each individual who realizes this, now this is where the good news is. Each individual who's awakening, who's realizing these facts that I just mentioned, they start to understand that on the surface we are separate bodies, separate physical bodies with bone and flesh, but on a deeper level we are interconnected, we are one. In such a society there will be 6 characteristics that are going to be there. Number 1, there will be empathy. So in such a society where awakened beings like you live, when they come together, they don't see a sense of separation. When someone gets hurt, they feel it within themselves, and nothing else is more important but to help or serve the other in that kind of community, in that kind of society. This is the new earth. Imagine if everyone lived that way. It won't just happen. It's going to be a smooth transition, not a smooth transition, but a slow transition. But it's not far-fetched to have a society where these characteristics would be common. Second one is there would be no fear of death in this kind of new earth, because what we call death is simply physical death. It's simply stopping of the bodily physical functions. It's not the end. Our social structures, our economic structures are formed because of there is this understanding that we are separate, and one wins, other loses, and there's constant effort of saving yourself, securing yourself. There's a lot of fear from which we try to run. So these are the bases of our current society right now, and this is not going to be the case if a society understands that there is no such thing as death. Okay, and the third one is people would live to celebrate, not to survive. It ties up with the second point. So when someone realizes that there is no end to this, when people realize that there is no end to this, then every moment would become a celebration, because every moment would be lived as this could be the last one. Truly, this could be the last one. So there will be a lot of joy, a lot of presence, a lot of awakeness in each action, in each decision. Right? So they are not gonna. That society would not live to survive, literally, just to have next meal or have your next promotion or stuff like that, right? That society would be celebrating all the time. Celebrating, with that I don't mean it's going to be champagnes and confettis all the time, but celebration means there'll be a lot of joy in each action. There'll be a lot of openness. Fourth one is there would be a complete transcendence of ego. This society would not be wrapped up in the sense of me, in the sense of I, me first, me against the world, I the leader, they the followers, he the leader, I the follower. Nothing like that. There would be no sense of identity or sense of ego. Yes, there will be names, and there will be, in that society, I'm just feeling for it, I'm seeing for it what can happen. Okay, fifth point. In such a society, there will be no man-made rules. So with that, what I mean is that we will be living according to the nature's law, natural law that governs the planet. And it's going to be a very self-governing society. Government will be there to help out individuals, and it would run on the contributions from everyone, and everyone would willingly contribute depending on what their capacity is. And they could contribute by physical service, they could contribute by exchanging, by sending money, whatever kind of money that would exist at that point. They could help by contributing through their words, through their appreciation. They can help by doing some favor, So in that society, There would be no man-made rules. There wouldn't be any power body. Everyone would be equally powerful and self-governing. They'd be contributing to each other. That's how it's going to look like. We're trying to paint a picture here, but it's very hard to really tell how it's going to actually pan out. But this is how it's going to be like. And it can be very beautiful. Also, the last one is, sixth one is, this society would be intergalactic. By then, we would have stopped wasting our energies and our resources in accomplishing more and more for ourselves and creating more luxuries. We would have become very humble society, and the energy that we would have saved by letting go of all these pompous activities that we do right now, that energy will go towards technological expansion, which could mean we would come up with more ways to get out there in this physical universe, be able to go out there and find new planets, new galaxies, and probably start societies in other planets also. So Earth will expand with these human beings, and in that environment, people will be encouraged to populate, because now we have more planets to dwell on. You see, so that's also a possibility, and would be intergalactic. We'd probably, and I don't know in time how long it's gonna take, but we'd probably meet other beings, and other beings, I mean aliens, obviously, other beings, and live with them, exchange technologies with them, learn from them, create amazing things with them. These are the possibilities of this new Earth. Whenever such ideas are being shared that has to do with peace and kindness and love, usually it's misunderstood. Peace and kindness and love, these basic virtues opens the door to advancements, technological advancements as well, because then we can be more holistic, we can be more together, energies can come together, and when so many people work together towards this common goal, then great things happen in less time. This could also be a reason that we're still not as developed with the way we conduct ourselves on this planet, that maybe some aliens don't even want to approach us because they know that they'll get killed or something. Imagine that also. We only imagine that aliens come and they take over and they do violence. Only that's how we think, right? That's how movies train us to think. But it could also be that the other beings are kind and loving, and they do want to come and approach and help out this growing civilization, which is a human civilization. But they know that we won't understand them because we don't understand each other yet. There's still separation between races within Earth. There's still separation between species within Earth. So, and if these are intelligent beings and they understand that that Earth is still a ghetto area galactically, then they would just stay away. Like, just imagine, I'm going to give you a very simple example. If you know that a person in your class or in your work environment is a rowdy person, and they get angry because of little things, and they're even violent sometimes, if you're a little bit smart, you would just stay away from them. It's as simple as that. If you're smarter, you'll just stay away from them. You will not even forget about argument. You wouldn't even talk. to them. So think about it this way as well, that aliens could not be approaching, or other beings that could not be approaching Earth, because they know that we are still dealing with our own issues, and we haven't really become so mature that we can handle newer kinds of people. We can accept them. It's impossible. We can't accept our own, the beings that are already existing in the planet. We kill and eat them. We don't have to. We can eat fruits and vegetables and live off of that. But we kill the species on the planet, and I mean it's not necessary, right? It's not necessary. We are advanced enough to find the proteins and vitamins from the natural sources, but we still kill them, and we do it so unconsciously without thinking about them. So if we are not cool with our own species on the earth, with our own people, how are we expected to grow and mature and meet other beings? Think about that. Something interesting. uh, Thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you.